What's up, everybody? This is RobLive, and we are back for episode 4 of our interview sessions. I'm really excited today because this is a person who's known me. My mom's known me my whole life, but this guy's known me since age 8. And he really was a big part of me reemerging this last year and challenging myself physically. We'll get more to that. But right now, in studio, RobLive studio, we have Tim Fujioka. There he is. If we had a live audience, they'd sound like this.
All right.
We're going to get an audience too. We're growing. We got a couple people. So, Tim, thanks for being here today. I don't even know where to start with you because there's so much. He came in today. Now, here's the thing about Tim. Always prepared. He came in with a photo album from birth all the way up until 35, 40?
Yeah.
I didn't see any wedding pictures. I thought we were going to get the wedding pictures.
No, I didn't bring those.
But that's a whole nother photo album.
It's another one.
So, yeah, and he's got some other trinkets that he carries around with him. He's a very interesting guy, but we're going to start from the beginning. So, Tim, where were you born?
I was born in Fresno, St. Agnes Hospital.
Yeah. 1962. 62.
Yeah.
Which makes you currently
61.
61 years old.
Yeah.
61 years young. So, born in Fresno, raised in
Reedley for the most part, yeah.
And then, so growing up in Reedley, you were a Reedley pirate, right?
Right.
Did you know I was a pirate for like one semester?
In Reedley?
Yeah.
Wow.
This is a strange story, but we'll talk about it later. But anyway, for one semester of my life, I left Dinuba High School and I went to Reedley. And so you and I both donned the emerald. And is it emerald and ivory or what is it?
I think it's emerald.
It's a different type of green than Dinuba. No offense, my fellow emperors, but it was a different green. I think Dinuba was, what were we? Kelly green, maybe?
Yeah, maybe Kelly, yeah.
Yeah. So we're both pirates at one point. So high school and Reedley. Let's start with childhood. Mm-hmm. You were raised by?
I was raised by my mom. My parents divorced at the age of when I was 2. The interracial marriages were frowned upon back then, and my mom was German, my dad was Japanese. So, yeah, they divorced when I was 2, raised by my mom and my grandmother.
And so it was you, grandma, and brother.
And my brother, right.
How old is your brother?
He's 2 years older, so he's 63.
So at the time you were 2, he was 4?
Yeah.
So 2 grades above you?
Yes, always.
And you guys did go to school at some point together?
Yes, we were at Reedley High School together.
What about elementary? Where'd you go for? I was at Lincoln. You know Lincoln on Manning Avenue? So I was a Lincoln Panther for a little bit.
I was too. I started at Jefferson in the
Jefferson Jets
in the 5th grade, and then told my mom I wanted to go to Lincoln, so we moved to Lincoln.
What made you want to switch elementary schools?
I think.
Well, knowing Tim, he scouted the softball team and figured that Jefferson wasn't going to give him the opportunity, so he went to Is that right?
Yeah, my wife.
You guys had a bit.
Don't say anything negative on this podcast, but I was a victim of racism.
Really?
At Jefferson, it's predominantly Hispanic.
Okay.
And being half Japanese, half German, they frowned upon that.
Really?
Yeah.
So what kind of incidents made you feel like you were being discriminated against?
So when they're doing intramural sports outside, last one picked, and I wasn't a bad athlete.
No, we know you were a good athlete. Yeah.
But I was the last one picked. It was all about the homie system and stuff like that.
Oh, who we knew and
another
who our
one would
were.
be. I like to use this as an example. Was at the time McGovern was going for president, and so was Nixon. And they said, everybody stand up that's voting for McGovern. The whole class stood. Well, who's voting for Nixon? I stood up. And they're like, yeah, you're going down. You ain't going to win. Well, Nixon won. Even though he got impeached later. But yeah, he won. But everybody hated me. I was, boo,
So even political beliefs.
Oh, anything. I don't think they
was this 3rd, 4th, 5th grade?
That was 5th grade.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even know who was running for president in the 5th grade. You guys are so much more
they brought it up
socially aware.
Yeah.
And then you said, I'm out.
I told my mom, I don't want to go to school again.
And then from Lincoln, you went to General Grant?
To Grant, right.
Grant Junior High?
Yeah, they were all mixed. All the Jefferson kids were there at that point. It was a little different.
Were you good? Were you a good student?
Yeah.
I'm a teacher.
So I wasn't trying to overachieve or anything. I was just getting by. I was a bad student. But I wasn't. I was getting good grades.
So you would turn in your assignments, but you were just enough to
get by.
But no extra effort. So your passion was? Sports.
Yeah, that's kept me in school.
I mean, to this day, sports.
Pretty much, right? Yeah.
His wife, Melissa's off camera here, but she can attest to his passion for sports. Right, Melissa? She's attended numerous games, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But so you find your niche in sports. Mm-hmm. And what was your first sport?
We played, I think it's at that age, it was Pop Warner football. the age of
So you
10.
played football first.
And then Little League baseball.
Okay.
Yeah.
And which one would you say was your passion at that point?
I really love football because in baseball, I wasn't that great of a Little League player because the mound was too close.
Oh, I see.
And I say that as an example because I struck out probably the most on our team. As soon as we went to Babe Ruth at the age of 13, I was the first one to hit it over the fence.
You did tell me that story because you had more time to see the ball.
Oh, yeah. More reaction time.
Okay.
So I surpassed all the guys that were all-stars in Little League. Yeah, I was past.
Hey, all you late bloomers out there, listen, if you're struggling at a sport right now and you're between the ages of, like 5 and 12 years old, just don't give up. Your time will come. Everything catches up over time. So Tim's a testament to that.
Don't give up.
Wasn't until Babe Ruth that you got one over the fence.
Took off, yeah.
So then you get to high school. You're at Reedley High. And what's the social scene for you? Now that you said there was that discrimination, was Reedley High more diverse or were you feeling more the same?
No, it was better. We had championship teams in Pop Warner, so we were getting more popular, and then we're on the football team, so everything was good in high school.
Did you and your brother ever play on the same team?
We did. I was the quarterback on the JVs as a freshman, and he was on JVs, and I threw him a touchdown pass. That was probably one of my mom's highlights.
Man.
Yeah.
Did you were you looking out for brother? What brother Rick, right?
Rick, right.
So were you kind of looking for brother Rick in the huddle and
So back
Rick,
then,
go
it
long?
wasn't as sophisticated. It wasn't all audibles, read the defense. It was a set play.
It's like, who's open?
Yeah. He was considered a Y as a tight end, Y on the out. So I'd try to look him off.
Do you remember the play?
Yeah.
Where you threw him a touchdown?
He just did it out in the end zone.
And he was
I
there?
was throwing there automatically, yeah.
Could you hear Mom from the stands?
No.
That's my
There
babies!
was a lot of cheering going on. But.
My mom used to scream from the stands, "He's going to get hurt." She had no faith in me. So anyway, okay, so you get through high school. Were you a social kid in high school? Were you going to the prom? Were you hanging out? I saw some pictures where you're in tuxedo and a limo.
Yeah, I went to all the events, but I was really more shy in high school. I started coming out after, I started getting my careers, started working.
Okay, so for those who've ever met Tim, some of you guys are going to watch this episode and you're going to laugh out loud when he says he was shy. Because the current version of Tim Fujioka, there's not a shy bone in his body. He will go up to strangers. I'll introduce him to friends, and 2 minutes later, he's got his dad jokes. By the way, do you have what's your best dad joke for us? He's known for this, guys.
Well, my wife made us breakfast this morning. I said, "Can you clean up after?" I was walking on eggshells all morning. Yeah.
You guys, what was the one you said over there about parakeets?
Oh no, that was just the most spur of the moment. My really go-to is.
How about the tea? Okay, so let me set the scene. I go to lunch with Tim, right, at this restaurant. Oh, what's that place called in Visalia?
I don't know what it's called, but I know where you're going.
Okay, and so we go to lunch, and he calls the waitress over. Now, mind you, Tim's never been there before, and I remember the waitress from last time, and he calls her over, and I think he's going to ask her about the menu, but go ahead and tell me.
I said, how much of the iced tea? She said $2.50. I said, how much of the refill? She goes, they're free. I guess I'll take the refill. That's what I told her.
She kind of paused. She's like, so yeah, you guys see the cameraman, you guys are laughing. Take One Films. I got it right. Take One Films. They're the guys who set up all the lights and everything. I haven't given them a shout out yet. One take. See, they got to. Can we edit that out? One Take Films. They're the guys taking care of all this for us. We appreciate them. And they're even laughing at Tim's dad jokes. And he's known for that. And I really feel like Tim, for me, has been an experiment in psychology to see how people respond and how it really disarms people. So I don't know if that was your intention with these jokes, but they really do disarm people because you get a laugh out of them. And then it's, it's kind of self-deprecating humor where you're like not taking yourself too seriously. And they get comfortable right away with you. And I've noticed that about you. And I've kind of been watching that lately. So I'm going to incorporate dad jokes into my future episodes just to get the audience at ease. Except it doesn't have that back and forth. So we get to after high school, you graduate. What's the plan after high school?
My mom kicked me out, said you're going to go to college.
He told me this story just today.
So
how old were you? 17?
I was 17.
So he was a young senior.
She said, "Yeah, you're going out. You're going to go to college." I had to work full time to pay rent, so I worked at a janitorial service. We couldn't start till 5 till everybody left the offices.
Yeah,
and we worked till like 2 in the morning. And then my schedule in Fresno City was my first class was at 7, so I had to get up super early.
Was college at that point your idea?
No.
Or it was just kind of the thing to do?
If I was going to do college, I wanted to stay and go to Reedy College and stay home. I didn't want to work full time and then try to go to college.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, I really didn't like school. So I don't know what would have happened if I'd have stayed home.
So it kind of worked out.
I grew up fast.
How soon in advance were you warned that, hey, once you graduate, you're out the door?
Yeah, she probably was grooming me the whole time, the whole senior year. Hey, you know you're going to go to college. I go, yeah, I'll go to Reedy. No, you're going to go to Fresno City.
And you can live with your brother and pay rent.
I was a little nervous. Yeah, you grow up fast when you're kicked out like that.
Was your first job after high school?
So, no, I worked during school, and I think we were 14. We started working in packing houses. If we wanted to
Garowans.
If you want to wear nice clothes, you got to work in packing houses.
Okay, so for those viewers who are not from the Central Valley YouTube audience out there, here in the California Central Valley, we have a lot of produce, and the produce has to be packed, and so there's plenty of packing houses, and that's a very common job for kids between the ages of 14?
Sorry, 14. Yeah.
14 through high school. That's where you earned your money. My brother worked at Garowans in Reedley. What packing house were you at?
So I worked several small ones, but I ended up at Garowans my last year.
Okay, there's another one. It's on the tip of my tongue. It's a Japanese name, and it's out there. Not Minami.
Abe had their own oranges.
Ito's.
Oh, Ito's.
Ito's packing. Did you ever work for Ito?
No.
So what'd you pack? Peaches, grapes?
Everything, peaches, nectarines.
Did you ever have to go to the field and pick?
I did in the off season.
So you were a field worker too?
I have, yeah. We picked peaches.
That's no joke, huh?
And we put up props on the branches that had too much fruit, so they wouldn't break. We also sprayed weeds.
Well, I heard that when you do peaches, you have to have the long sleeve because of the peach fuzz.
Even though it's 100 degrees outside, you wear long sleeves. You have to keep the peach fuzz off you.
8-hour days?
Yeah.
How was the temperature out there?
100, 102. It was hot.
So, we tried to pick. I tried to work in the fields one time. I was fortunate enough that my parents, they were making enough that we didn't have to be out there. But if we wanted extra things, sometimes hey, you got to go find an extra job. Mm-hmm. And I was out there. We must have lasted till lunchtime. Me and my friends, we were like, hey, we're tough football players. We do 2 a days. Nope. Yeah. Field work is a whole nother level of toughness. For those of you guys who never tried it, it's the heat, it's the condition, it's the motion, it's the bending over, it's the picking. It's one of the toughest jobs I've ever experienced. Would you say the same for you?
Very, very tough. But what groomed me too was football practice. Back then they didn't believe in water breaks. Matter of fact, they gave us salt pills. And they tortured us. But
Hell Week was really Hell Week back then.
It still helps me to this day. Like I'll do physical therapy today, and when the timer goes off, I'm still doing reps. People, when their timers go off, they just stop and sit there until their therapist comes. I'm still doing my reps. The football coaches, I didn't tell you to stop. Keep going. You keep going until you're told to stop.
Wow.
So
Who was your high school coach?
So Paul Mitchell was our football
Paul
coach.
Mitchell.
You know Paul Mitchell?
Wow.
Yeah,
okay, Paul Mitchell, when I was there for that one semester, was my science teacher.
Oh, yeah, he's good.
I think it was biology.
Yeah.
And he was also at the time, I believe he was the JV coach. And he was tough.
JV football coach, but the head baseball coach.
Oh, I didn't even know about the baseball.
He was the best. I mean, after each game, he could recite every pitch, every out. Yeah, he was very good. The guy taught me, do not take a cutoff on the right side. Yeah.
That was Paul Mitchell?
Paul Mitchell, yeah.
I didn't know who... Okay, so
wise.
Tim's been referring to his coach from high school since we've been playing together, and we'll talk more about that later, men's league. And he always referred to this... I had a really good baseball coach. It was Paul Mitchell.
He was the man. Yeah.
Wow. So I know some other guys who played under him, a little younger than us. Shout out to Ernie Rodriguez out there, who became a coach as well and an athlete, played for Reedley High School, Reedley College, and he said one of his favorite high school coaches was Mr. Mitchell. Mm-hmm. So Mr. Mitchell, he gave me, all of us, our class, a word of advice that I still try to live by today. And what he said, hey, when you feel an ache or a pain in your body's sending you a message that something is wrong. Don't try and just cover it up with a pill, because all the pill's doing is killing that signal, right, to the brain. It's not really addressing the root issue. So whenever possible, refrain from medication and try to find the root of the problem. And that has stuck with me to this day. And even like the little aches and pains from baseball, instead of popping the not the Excedrin. Instead of popping that, you know what I do? I go to the chiropractor. And they identify Dimensions Chiropractic in Hanford. They will find what it is. I remember, if you remember this early, my first game, I was diving I knocked out a rib.
Yeah.
And they worked on it. And that's a Mr. Mitchell piece of advice. Wow, that man is so impactful. Teachers, man. So then after high school, you go to college for a little bit. And then I believe you said, is that when you started working for Pepsi?
Not quite yet. I worked for Fresno Oxygen. They have those big tanks, acetylene tanks, oxygen, acetylene.
For the hospitals?
Hospitals, welding. We had helium for balloon shops.
Okay.
And that was.
And you're living in Fresno?
I'm living in Fresno, working there, minimum wage. Just knowing that I don't want to do that for the rest of my life, but I had to do it because I had to make money to pay rent.
Yeah.
And then from there.
What about the cooking and the cleaning and all that?
Yeah, I didn't.
How did you learn all that?
Yeah, peanut butter and jelly, popcorn.
You guys see home economics. Let's bring it back.
Yeah, I didn't do a lot of cooking. I was by myself.
Man, you grew up really fast.
Oh, it was hard.
Now, were you able to come back home to do laundry or meals on Sunday, any of that?
Not really. I mean, I could, for meals maybe now and then, but mostly I do my laundry in laundromat or whatever. Yeah.
And so then after the oxygen
So
job,
then I went to work for Margosian Beverage. It's a beer company, but I only went there because Pepsi had a good softball team, and I was all into softball.
Sports.
Yeah, so I started, they said, hey, go work at the beer company so you can learn how to do a hand card, get a route, and then we'll hire you. So I went to Miller Beer. I had my own route. And on the side of the truck, it says, we don't carry cash. That is a lie. I would have 40, 50,000 every time I work. Oh, wow. That's just to deter you to rob us.
Were you by yourself in the truck?
I was by myself. Yeah, I'd give it up because all my accounts were cash. Fireball, Mendota, Kerman, they're all cash accounts.
Did they ever?
I never got jacked, but yeah, I had a lot of money every day.
Wow.
So anyways, I'm working at Miller Beer, and then they said I'd been there for like 9 months, and then my friends that played on the softball team at Pepsi were supervisors. They said, hey, it's time. And I said, what's time? They go, you need to go apply at Pepsi. I go, all right, cool. I thought, okay, I'll go apply. So I go apply, give my application, and I asked the lady, heck of it, how many people apply for this job? They said 200. I said, how many positions are there? They said 2. I go, oh, I ain't getting this job.
200?
2 people are being hired. This is where politics comes in.
Yeah. So
then I tell my friends, hey, I'm glad you guys had me go apply, but I'm not getting the job. Go to the interview. I go to the interview, and my friends are on the interview panel. I had the job before I even applied.
They were like, do you play second or shortstop?
And that's exactly how it went down.
What's your batting order?
I went to Pepsi to play softball. And then from there I went to my
There you go. See, you guys say sports won't take you anywhere in life, right? There's some perks here. Tim got a job because he was a strong softball player and a good person, right? So now you're at Pepsi.
Route salesman.
And you told me that was one of the best paying positions you had at a young age.
Yeah, I was paid $1,500 a month plus 25 cents per case.
Now, were you still living with your brother in Fresno?
Oh, no, I was already on my own. But yeah, that was big money. We got paid every Friday. And there was in the summertime I might get $2,000 on a Friday.
And this was in
Pepsi.
Living in Fresno.
Yeah.
Single guy.
Yeah, back in the 80s.
Bunch of you must have been having. That's a lot of fun.
A lot of money, a lot of fun.
Now, what did you use your money for? Were you pretty smart with it, or did you?
Yeah, I would save it. I'm trying to buy brand new cars that I needed, or I would try to hold on to it. But yeah, that was an experience.
So then, after Pepsi, softball plays into this again.
The next one, yeah.
Okay.
I was playing a lot of travel softball, and my friends were on an Olympic
second
softball
base
team. Yeah, I played second. They go, hey, come play with us. We play on the prison Olympics. It's police and fire Olympics. And I go, okay, I want to play with you guys. Well, you got to fill out an application. So I filled out an app to be a correctional officer. And I took a pay cut. Pepsi, I was making over $100,000 a year. I went to corrections to make less money. But I went there for softball again.
Wow.
And when I got there, we won the Olympics like 5 years in a row. Gold medal. Yeah.
Where would you guys go for the tournaments?
They were all over. San Diego, LA area, just wherever the tournament, whoever was hosting, we would go.
Wow.
So
okay, so now we got to get to your correction officer. Mm-hmm. Were you originally based in Corcoran? Was that where it started?
Yeah, I did my whole career.
Your whole career,
yeah.
25 years?
21.
21 years in corrections. Mm-hmm. And in Corcoran, while you were there, correct me if I'm wrong, Charles Manson was there.
That's correct. Yeah, Charles was there in the protective housing unit. Yeah.
And you worked directly with Charles Manson.
I did on occasion. Yeah, I was with him. He would only talk to certain officers. I was one he liked, so we had a lot of conversation.
And from what I understand, and I think you told me, and there was another corrections officer that I'd spoken to about this, that a lot of what we, the public, saw was a public persona that he was playing up for the cameras.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'd ask him, Charlie, why do you act so crazy when the interview cameras come out? He says, well, because you think they interviewed me if I act straight, act normal, you dig? So he said, yeah, I have to act crazy so they'll come back.
Wow.
People are intrigued. They want to hear what he's all about. He was a little crazy, but he was pretty sane too. He can hold a conversation. Yeah, he'd go off.
So he wasn't like out of his mind like
No.
we would see on camera.
No, he wasn't like that.
That was just playing. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And so I always wondered about this. You spent 21 years in the prison system. And obviously people who are in prison, right, they're there doing their time. And it becomes its own culture, right? You have race that plays into this. You have the gang affiliation, right? And then you have your background. And unfortunately, a lot of these young guys who were put into prison, right, grew up in pretty rough circumstances. What would you say you learned about people in the prison system? Just watching, observing, because I know you're a very observant person.
Yeah, the career makes you observant, but yeah, I learned a lot thanks to God that, there are people too. Corcoran is, there were 2 maximum security prisons in California. One was Tehachapi, actually 3 in Pelican Bay and Corcoran. And so these are all lifers. All the inmates in other prisons, the 30 prisons in California, are trying to get to Corcoran so you can get the best training of how to kill, where to stab, how to make weapons. So they're trying to get there. And they're people too, so you got to be able to communicate with them. And if you give them respect, they'll give you respect back for the most part. Yeah.
So for the most part, you were pretty respectful,
very respectful
amongst the inmates.
Yes.
And do you think that was more of a survival tactic, or is that just being a man of God? You just felt like they're...
Both. I think I praise God for that because a lot of officers will use profanity and disrespect the inmates. Those would be the first ones to get targeted if there's going to be a hit on staff. I was very respectful. Didn't use profanity, and the inmates appreciated that. They didn't always agree with the things I had to do. I had rules and regulations to follow, as did they. But it's strictly a business in there. Yeah. Their job was to kill and make weapons and hide them and do drugs. My job was to look for hit lists on drugs and weapons.
And which found on multiple occasions.
Oh, yeah.
You have a whole myriad of stories about identifying things. Is there anything that stands out to you that you can recall that would be, something that the general public may not even know unless they worked in that?
So I started in 1991, and prior to that, and at the time when I started making drug busts, they would have packages in the maximum security. A family could put it together. It was called an annual package. So they could put whatever they want in there, cereal, candy, and all this stuff.
Is that like a care package?
Care package, but once a year if you're in maximum.
Oh, I see.
So my job was to go through the package, take it to the inmate, and go through it with a fine-tooth comb. So one incident in particular, there was a box of Cocoa Puff cereal. And I opened it up, and I can't give them the wax paper or the box, so I have to dump it in a paper bag. When I dumped it, I got a whiff of vinegar smell. Well, heroin smells like vinegar. And I didn't know it at the time, but I was like, what is that? So I took out my baton.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, and I started hitting some of the Cocoa Puffs, crushing them. And about my 4th one, it was solid. It was a balloon. So the inmate would have the family put heroin in the balloon and then tie it off, cut it, roll it in, or spray it with some glue, roll it back in crushed Cocoa Puffs. And it looks like when throw it in a box. I found 117 billions in one box.
Oh, my.
Yeah. So
that's...
they were getting drugs forever that way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, being in prison, right? Was there anyone there who was like you recall being, from year 1 all the way till you retired, an inmate that kind of stood out to you that was there the whole time?
So you're with the inmates more than you're with your own family. If you can picture
that
this, I'd go to work.
That's bizarre.
Leave to work at 4 a.m, and I'm there till like 2. So by the time I get home at 3, I'm with my family 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5 hours. I'm there 8 hours. So you build a lot of relationships with these inmates. So to answer your questions, there was a lot of inmates that stood out to me because I respected them, they respected me, and we had a lot of conversation.
And as far as how do you keep from bringing it home? Because I know that for me, I worked in a group home. Now, obviously, that's nothing like a prison, but it's kind of like a traumatic, high tension situation at times, right? And then I'd come home and I needed a few hours to like decompress mentally.
Right.
How did you separate the job from the home life?
So living in Reedley, it was an hour drive to Corcoran. So that was my downtime. An hour to get there in the fog, spend my 8 hours there, and then an hour back.
And on the way back, you're just slowly
just
coming out of that mode.
Yeah, because when you hit those gates, the gates close. They say it's a proven fact. Your heart rate goes up. You're at a high alert. So they tell you when you retire, just keep the same routine. I still get up early in the morning, 4 or 5 in the morning. So I keep my routine. If I were to relax and just sleep in, a lot of officers die within 5 years after retiring. And it's a proven fact. I have a lot of friends that died because they would sleep in, they would start drinking beer, they let their bodies go. I'm still active. I play pickleball, baseball.
Everything.
Yeah.
Wow. So speaking of family, right? When did you meet your wife and build a family?
So
was that during your prison time?
Yeah, I was already working at the prison. Actually, I take that back. I was working for Pepsi. So I was delivering to a Payless in Selma, that drugstore.
Oh, man. You're going way back.
She was in the pharmacy. Yeah. I was bringing in Pepsi, and I think we met by the paper towels.
Met by the Charmin.
Yeah, something like
Don't
that.
squeeze the Charmin.
Yep, we were right there.
Do you remember meeting your wife for the first time?
What happened was I saw her in the pharmacy, and I asked one of the clerks there, hey, what's her name? Oh, that's Melissa. But she has a boyfriend. And I said, all right, will you let me know when they break up? Because I actually asked, where's he from?
You really said that? Wow.
He's from L.A. area. Oh, I ain't going to last. Tell me when they break up, I said. Wow. And then I went in maybe a month later or so, and they go, hey, they broke up. I go, okay. So I introduced myself.
So Melissa's off camera, so we have a special insight. Does this sound pretty accurate to you? How this happened? And within a month, the breakup, and then...
Yeah.
Awesome. And then, so children, you have 3 kids, right?
We have 3 kids, yeah. We have 2 girls, 1 boy.
And I know your daughters were big into softball as well, because I know guys who know you from the softball community, so they played as well. Do you feel like you growing up and playing played a role in them wanting to become athletes as well, or is that just kind of their own thing?
I think, maybe it had something to do with it. And I was always involved in coaching. So, like, when they started, like, junior cagers at the age of 9, I was the coach. And I would teach them plays. I had strategies. I'm trying to win. Everybody's out there to have fun.
And you coached high school, too?
I coached some high school softball at Emmanuel.
That's right.
Yeah,
you were at Emmanuel. Was the Sportsplex around yet?
Not yet. It came in a couple of years after I left.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so now, and then your son. Was he in the sports too?
I wanted him to, but I didn't want to push him. So we kind of let him slowly fade out where he didn't want to do any sports.
He had his own interest.
Yeah.
I think it's
true story. It's kind of funny though.
Yeah.
I was trying to get him into Pop Warner. He was 10, and I took him to first practice. Like, how'd you like it? Oh, yeah, I don't like it. He's making noni. The second day, we're driving to practice, and I go, hey, you ready for today? I'm trying to get him fired up. He goes, why are you torturing me? Well, that was it. That's when I got cut off. I said, son, if you really don't want to play, he goes, Dad, just because you like it, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it. But to me, it was going to build character. It was going to make him strong and tough.
Yeah.
Tough. I wanted tough. So.
So why are you torturing?
Yeah, so we didn't go. I took his cleats back, and
that's good. I think as a parent, it's really hard because we have this vision of who we want them to be, and sometimes in our desire to see that vision to fruition, we lose their dreams, right? And they become what we want them to become. Recently, I showed you those 5 regrets that people have who passed away, and one of those regrets is. I wish I would have become the person that I truly wanted to be rather than the person people expected me to be. And I think a lot of that comes from parenting. So I commend you for being able to let go of one of your passions to allow him to follow his dream.
I had to. I'm so proud of him now, though. He's a 4.0 in college.
Oh, my.
Trying to get a...
What does he want to do?
He's going to be a school teacher. Actually, he already is.
Yes.
He's a school teacher in Arizona.
Teachers.
And,
in Arizona? I didn't know that.
Yeah. And might even stay there now because they're talking about loan forgiveness. So
best job in the world. I'm a little biased. So, okay, and so then you had your family, but you continue to play sports.
Yes.
You're on the softball team with the prison, and then at some point you make the leap back to actual hardball with the baseball.
Yeah, a gentleman asked me to come play baseball while I was still working. I said, I'm not going to play baseball. It's too boring. And he kept bugging me. And I said, okay, when I retire, hit me up. I'll come try it. Well, sure enough, I retired in 2021. And as soon as I retired, he goes, hey, you remember what you said? So I went and played, and I was hooked because it's 50 and over wood bat.
So wait, you've only been playing?
For 11 years.
Oh.
Yeah, since I
retired.
So
Not 2021.
2012. Sorry.
2012.
Yeah, 2012.
So you've been playing for all this time now.
11 years.
So, okay, so let's get the backstory on how we reconnected because it's baseball. And so I see Tim on Facebook, and he's taking pictures with all these people. I'm like, oh my God, it's Tim. And I knew Tim because he was best friends with my brother at one point. Matter of fact, my brother, shout out to Gus Escamilla out there, was Tim's best man in his wedding. And I didn't know that. Well, Tim and Gus, when I was a kid, I'd kind of hang out, and you guys took me to my first Oakland A's baseball game. First MLB game. I remember that. And then, time passes, and then we're older. And now I'm about to turn 50 years old, right? I'm about 49 at the time. And I run into Tim in Dinuba. For those who are not from Dinuba, they have a Raisin Day every year. That's a big festival for us. And I see him on Facebook, and then I'm walking past him and say, hey, Tim, what's going on? Tim says hello. And then Tim asks me a very odd question. Because usually it's like, how you doing?
Yeah.
How's the kids? Tim says, hey, can you throw a strike? Yeah. And I was like, wait, can I throw a strike? Matter of fact, Tim, I've been pitching for my kids' batting practice. So I can throw a strike. It's not going to be fast. And you're like, that's perfect. Mm-hmm. And I was confused by that at first. Because I was like, why would you want a guy who throws, what do I throw, like 20? 50?
No, you throw faster than that. But
no, I don't think
we need
so.
you to throw strikes. That's all we
I need to show you guys video of me pitching. It's really like everything looks like a changeup, but it's my fastball. So anyway, Tim's like, hey, you could play with us. And I'm like, there's no way I'm going to play with these guys. I know they're all seasoned players. They've been playing for a long time. And then he got me when he said the age. He says, I need guys who are 50 and over. When do you turn 50? And I said, I'll be 50 in January. This is October. Mm-hmm. He goes, perfect. We start season in March. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, all right, I can throw a strike. Like, yeah, I'll go try it. And then he calls me out. We start batting practice. I meet some of the guys on the team. Shout out to Brooks and Miggy. First two guys I met.
All right.
And then I met Eddie.
Yeah.
So then I started men's baseball, hardball. And Tim is our manager. He's the president of this league. If you guys are interested, we'll put the link in that league because we're trying to grow this league. But it really was an eye-opener for me to see these guys and the love of the game they have. But I know it's not football, but the toughness, the level of toughness I saw out there. Because Tim is my witness, man. How bad was I hurting after the first game? Do you remember?
No, you can get sore. You can pull muscles.
Yeah, no. I got hurt 4 times this season?
Yeah.
And there's guys out there. We have a guy named Gilbert. Shout out to Gilbert Martinez. He's our catcher. He squats for 9 innings, right? Every Sunday for 6 months. It's a long haul.
It's a long season.
Tim's been running this for a long time. Tell us a little bit about the men's hardball league.
So I'm constantly recruiting. As you said earlier, I saw you at a park, and I'm recruiting there. When I go to Home Depot, I recruit people. Yeah, it's senior baseball. It's very organized. We have a 17-game season plus playoffs. And if you didn't get enough, we play on the fields where the pros play, the Cactus Fields in Arizona. We have a World Series.
Yeah.
And a matter of fact, a couple teams from our area went over there this year. We're in the championship game and lost in the World Series.
Oh, that's right. The 50 and overs?
The 50 and overs lost, but our 40 and overs, 45 and overs won.
That's Geiger's.
David Geiger, yeah.
Geiger's
they were called the Team Nuts, and they're world champions.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Geiger's phenomenal.
Yeah, he's good. He's 48 this year. He'll be 49 next year.
Wow. Yeah, and I got YouTube videos you guys can see of the games where I'm playing with the team, and you'll be amazed at what these guys do. There's this one video I'm going to share with you guys later where a 72-year-old pitcher hit me in the thigh. I don't know if you remember that game. Mm-hmm. That's the other thing. Did I get the record or was it you?
I think I got you by 1. I got 9 hit by pitches.
Oh, I didn't get hit that many times.
Yeah.
I got hit maybe 6.
Right.
Tim will not move. If you throw a bad errant pitch, he's going to stand in the box and take that hit. And that always amazed me too. And that's why you got the arm guard, remember?
I had to set the example. I want people to get on base, sacrifice your body for the team. I can get out of the way and wait to the next pitch and hit it if I wanted. But if I get on base, we could get a run. Maybe we can win the game.
Team player till the end.
Yeah.
Speaking of teammates, Eddie Grinner. Those who watched RobLive, you guys seen past interviews. Eddie Grinner was one of our first guests. He was our very first guest on this. I only know Eddie because of Tim. Can you tell us the backstory with Eddie? How you guys?
The real story?
Yeah.
Okay, I think he might have mentioned a little bit, but yeah, Eddie was asked to be on our team, and I didn't know him. I just met him, and so we start always. I'm not afraid to talk to people, so I'm interviewing him.
Oh no, you're not.
So what's your life like? What have you been doing? And he goes, well, I had a little stint in jail. I go, jail or prison? He goes, well, both. I go, what prison? He said, Corcoran. I said, really? I go, what yard? He goes, C yard. I go, I was on C yard. And then he goes, oh, really? What block were you in? What building? He's asking me. I said, I was in building 5. How about you? He goes, I was in building 5. He goes, what cell were you in? And I go, what cell were you in? He said, I was in 121. I'm like, I was an officer. But I do remember him.
You remember?
I remember him. But he was a good role model inmate. You know, he did what he was told.
So just the way these paths cross, one of your inmates from the past came out, turned his life around, as you can see from the interview, and now plays with us.
Yeah, he's very respectful. He's got a great job.
Eddie.
Yeah.
Eddie's great. Eddie was also one of the guys who really took me under his wing and coached me up a little bit on certain things because I came in green. I mean, do you remember my first game? It's comical now, right? When you think about it, but I was just like so nervous. And Tim changed my pitching stance in literally the middle of the first game and changed my accuracy. Do you remember that?
Yeah, you're very coachable. You listen.
Because you were like, hey, keep your feet spread apart and you'll have better balance. And then I started throwing strikes. Mm-hmm. And so I want to thank Tim publicly. You guys, one of the things that I wanted to do was I wanted to pitch again. And Tim knew this. So after about 6 or 7 games, no, maybe 8 games in, he lets me pitch an entire game. Mm-hmm. That was my goal, was to pitch an entire game. And yes, we won. I want to remember the score now. I want to say it was like 9-3 maybe. Probably. But you let me pitch a full 9 innings. You remember that?
Yeah.
I'll never forget that. Oh, wait. Did we 10-run rule? Did we end early on that one?
Might have, yeah. It was the Grizzlies.
It was the Grizzlies, yeah. Shout out to the Grizzlies. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of that as well. So now you're 61. You're still playing. But you have this other sport that I'm about to try, and I don't know what I'm getting into here. Anyone out there ever heard of something called pickleball? Tim, tell us about pickleball.
So pickleball is a great sport. It's a cross between racquetball, ping pong, tennis. It's on a smaller dimensions court. The dimensions are the size of a badminton court. And it's just a lot of fun. It's about controlling the ball, not necessarily hitting hard. Beginners want to hit the ball, smash it. It's basically controlling the ball. It's very humbling. For example, younger kids think they can beat older folks. Sometimes the older ones have more wisdom, more patience. So we could actually do more damage if you're older.
So from my observation, I've seen a couple of games. It's ball placement. Mm-hmm. That's the key.
Exactly, yeah.
And then you also said you got to have the right racket.
Paddle, yeah.
Paddle.
Yeah.
So racket is racquetball. Paddle?
Yeah. So one story I'd like to share about that is the Fresno State coaches, they're on this D1 tennis. They wanted to play against me and my partner, who's pretty good. We're a high level.
Do I know your partner?
Jeff McFall. He's from Kingsburg, actually from Reedy High, but he lives in Kingsburg.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, him and I were playing these 2 guys, and they're young. They're in their 20s and 30s. And we played like 15 games, and they didn't win a game. And we asked them, what did you guys learn? And we're very humbled because you guys are in your 50s, and you guys whooped us all the games because we have knowledge and patience. One other story I want to tell you is these 2 younger guys, they're probably in their 40s. They hit up me and Jeff in Visalia and said, well, you guys want to play? You don't ever want to play us. We'll play anybody. Well, let's play for money. And I go, we're not going to play you for money. No, we're going to go $100 a game. I go,
oh, wow.
We don't want to take your money. Oh, so they got offended, right?
Yeah.
Well, tomorrow, right here. They had all their relatives lined up in lawn chairs to watch the game. There was like 20 people.
Wait, where did this take place?
Right there at Visalia Plaza Park. They had their grandparents and kids all lined up.
And you just happened to run into these guys? You didn't know them
we
prior?
Didn't know them. But they were like, yeah, well, you guys never want to play with us.
Have you seen them play? Were you confident you could beat them?
I'd seen them. They hit the ball too hard.
Oh.
People hit the ball hard.
So you already knew.
They'll hit it hard at me and I'll dodge it. It's going to go out. Most people will react and hit the ball back. Yeah. So we played them, I think, 16 games. They didn't win a game. And I said,
how much money did...
That would have been $1,600 each. But I told them, you guys don't have to pay us. I already told you ain't going to win. They were humbled, once again.
Now, did they pay you anything?
No, I didn't ask for money. I don't want to gamble. That's going to hurt. Especially we're pretty confident in our game. We've been playing for...
So this would almost be like a hustle.
Yeah, I've been playing for 11 years. Pickleball.
So you could be a pickle shark if you wanted to.
Could.
But that's not your thing.
But that was just a bad choice on his part to try and... Yeah, I don't want to take advantage of nobody.
So let's talk about something that we've spoke briefly about, but I feel like to me is what's wanted me to spend time with you more than anything else. And that's your walk with Christ.
Oh, yeah.
You're a man of God.
Oh, yeah.
How did that start?
So my wife and I, we talked before getting married that we wanted to make sure we stayed in church and our kids in church, and we wanted to break the cycle. She came from a broken family, as did I. So we said, well, if we're going to say I do, we're going to stay together through thick and thin. We're not going to divorce. So, we've had our ups and downs, but we praise God for that, for keep us together.
So you feel like God has been the foundation of your marriage?
By all means. Also my career to keep me alive all those years, 21 years in max.
Any no close calls or?
Yeah, there's been some.
Because I know that there's a no hostage policy.
Oh, there is, yeah. That's for, she came and toured the prison. I would give tours of 20 people, 30 people. People that said that we were overpaid in the correction system, I go, you need to come tour. So once they got the tour, then they changed their minds.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very dangerous in there. It's a world of its own.
So when did you start your walk? Christ.
Well, I was baptized in the 4th grade at a church in Fresno, Southern Baptist Church. Stayed in church all through high school. Got pushed out. Probably stopped going for a few years, and really didn't get back into it till I got married. And
then when you got back married, then you guys.
Yeah. So
what's your local church right now?
Right now, we go to neighborhood church in Visalia.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Neighborhood church. Yes.
Yeah, we like that.
You
church.
did mention that. I'd like to check that place out.
But we would do little prayer groups at the prison. I would try to lead it. I'd say, hey, who wants to pray with us before we start our shift? But you got to come a little early. You can't come at shift time. We started, some of the jobs I would start at 6 a.m. So we'd get a group of like 5 guys. We'd pray. It'd be pouring rain. We're going to pray right out there because there's no trees. There's no shade in prison. Yeah. There's no cover. So we're out in the open getting all wet praying. And we all go to our jobs.
Are you allowed to pray with the prisoners?
That's a good question. I think it might be over familiarity. But I would recommend them to read things, but never really prayed with them. And if you did, you'd probably pray with your eyes open. If you did, but
yeah.
Back to that though, I was going to tell you that law enforcement and Christians, basically are held to a higher standard. Christians, you want to be Christ-like. You want to set the example to others. Yeah. Same thing with law enforcement. Amen. You should be following the law. It doesn't always happen, as we all know. But an inmate gave me the highest compliment in prison one time. He goes, Officer Fuji, could I ask you a question? I go, what's that? He goes, you're a Christian, huh? I go, well, I've never told you, so what would make you say that? He goes, your demeanor, you're respectful, you don't use profanity. And, inmates cuss at me all day long sometimes. Yeah. But, I just kept my composure because I want to set the example. Yeah. Yeah, officers there will say, you have to cuss at these inmates. That's the only language they know. I go, that's not true. I go, I don't cuss. And they go, well, I would like to cuss, but I just can't. I go, you can't. I go, I could break you for that habit. Every time I say a cuss word, I'll do 10 push-ups. Every time you say a cuss word, you do 10. My partners were getting buff. Yeah.
Because they were slipping up all the time.
They slip all the time.
Wow. Yeah. And I noticed that about you. When I was first coaching high school football, this is like 2007 or 8, Coach Brent Huff, we were at Golden Valley High School, and he would never use profanity. And it just like really stuck with me how it really immediately put him in a different category, just on that little thing alone. And then when I came to your team, as you know, we're playing with grown men, and grown men use grown language. And I've never heard you use any profanity on the field. But the one thing that you do, and I was really impressed with this, is you do a prayer before every game. And you even invite the opposition, the opponents, to come. And most of the time they do join. Most of the time. I can't imagine. Was there ever a time when someone didn't join in with us?
Some guys,
No, I mean like nobody from the other team.
Oh, yeah. The Dodgers sometimes, they think they got to take their infield and they're just trying to be all serious. And maybe the Brewers. But shout out to Rob, because I've been trying to ask guys that say they're Christians and to step up. And I asked Rob to pray. If I open it, will you close it? And you did. And a shout out to you, because I need somebody like you. We need to carry on the example. I won't be there forever. You got to take over. Yeah. You got to show these youngsters.
Definitely there's some people on that field that need Jesus.
Oh, for sure. I'd like to share a story, though, about Arizona. We're in the World Series. And before the game, we asked a team from New York, okay, come pray with us. We played from all kinds of different teams, from Canada, wherever.
New York.
But this team from New York came over. We prayed. And one of the guys broke down crying. I go, what's wrong? He goes, my son, he was pulled in the office. He's going to be suspended for whatever reason. And I said, well, let's do a side prayer for him. We did. We prayed for his son. And when the game ended, we were winning. We were the home team. So I was playing first base. I caught the ball on the last out. And I gave him the game ball. I said, give that to your boy. So he was pretty excited.
Yeah, it's so amazing. Yeah, and I think honestly that was probably for me the deciding factor. It was like I wanted to play, and I hadn't thrown in a long time. Get some water here, but I was like, it's got to be the right situation.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I went with you, and you being the manager, and you were allowed to kind of like set the tone for how we were going to do things. And I remember having that first prayer before the game. That's when I was like, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be right now. You know, because Sundays, we play on Sundays. And that's been the toughest thing for me is it's a church day. But at least to get that prayer before the game, it meant a lot to me. Because I wanted my kids to see me do two things in life. Follow God and play a sport. Nice. Because I've been coaching them forever, right? And so I don't know if you ever heard Panda and some of the other kids, they'd come up when we're in the dugout. Hey, Dad, what are you doing? You gotta wake up, man. Like, did you ever see them chewing me out?
For sure, yeah.
They love that because, you know, for years I'm the one who's trying to get them in game mode, and now they get a chance to coach me. So I appreciate that.
I said I was recruiting players everywhere. I don't recruit at my church. In the off season, I'm at church every Sunday. And sometimes I slip. I'm about to tell somebody about baseball. I go, I got to stop. Because I don't want to take them from church. I want people to go to church. But know that we're going to pray and try to witness to others, you and I, at our event. And church doesn't have to always be on Sunday. I mean, there's church nights on Wednesday nights, Saturday nights. So
you don't recruit at church?
I don't want to do that.
Anywhere else?
Anywhere else is open game. Yeah. God tells me, hey, you need to speak to others.
So our team, we had some guys who were added a little bit later. Are these Home Depot guys, or where'd you find our players?
We're going to be picking up a guy from Lowe's. He's supposed to fill out his paperwork this year. He's coming. And I got another guy, this guy Kevin. He works for Caltrans. He's one of the supervisors. He's going to be coming on our team this year. Yeah, anywhere I see somebody, I'll recruit.
Awesome.
I don't have a problem.
Are we still going to be the Braves, or how does that
That's
work?
up to you guys.
You mean you can change teams?
Anytime we want. The one thing we won't do is I'm a Dodger fan, so we won't be the Giants, and I don't expect a Giant person to wear a Dodger uniform. So we won't be the Dodgers.
Is that deep-rooted? Huh?
Yeah, people are. If you're a Giant fan, you're not going to wear blue. And I'm Dodgers. I'm not going to wear orange. So any team but those two.
Any team but those.
Yeah,
because we're in California.
Yeah, anything but that.
Pirates, maybe?
We could.
Some yellow and black attack.
Open. I know some of the guys want to get the Braves red jersey. So if we don't change names, we could get the red jersey next year.
Okay.
The serious players need to send their money in when we start, though.
We're already talking about next season, huh?
Oh, yeah. It's here.
Little side note. Tim helped me fix this aquarium up. Remember, this was all sticking out here? So he's been a part of the RobLive situation since day one. Anything else you want to share with the people out there, Tim, before we commence this?
God is good, and keep him in your life. Yeah.
When is he good?
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
With that being said, I want to thank Tim for being here. Right, official handshake.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. Thanks again to One Take Films. I got it right this time. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And as always, we end RobLive by saying love, peace, and chicken grease. We out.